Welcome to Echoes in the Gallery. I am your host, Susan L. Sistrunk. As a lifelong artist and arts educator, it is my privilege to bring you my first original podcast set in a series of volumes. Each episode will air weekly on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Tonight, in episode 16, Alcatraz Island, Gwen, Eric, and Jordan embark on their mission to dump Yuri's body. Let us step into the gallery and begin. Episode 16, Alcatraz Island. Tuturia watched from the dock with Sergei. She had phoned him when she observed them from a distance moving something that looked like a body out of the trunk. What the hell is going on? Is that the kid from the gallery? How much trouble are they going to drag him into? With the boat loaded and ready, they watched the three take off in a vessel which surely didn't belong to any of them. Was it Ivanov's? Okay, Sergei, we obviously need to be on our toes here. Let's head back to the office and work on the accounts. The two drove away in silence, Tuturia wondering what was coming next. On the boat, Jordan was beside himself. "Miss Gwen, what are we doing?" he asked nervously. "We're taking out the trash. Don't worry, we'll be just fine." A short while later, Eric slowed the boat and cut the lights. The spot was just about a mile from Alcatraz and looked completely deserted. Not a boat in sight. They needed to act quickly before anyone came patrolling. "Jordan," Gwen called, "come steer the boat and keep it going steady on this heading. I need to help Eric." Jordan nervously took the helm and wished he had declined this little adventure. The day had spun drastically out of control for his liking. He focused on steering with nothing except trolling lights to guide him. From his position, Jordan heard the plastic being untied and Eric's voice floated to his ears. "Gwen, hold this up so blood doesn't spill onto the deck." "Blood?" Jordan made the mistake of looking over his shoulder to see Eric plunge a 12-inch hunting knife into the body of their cargo. He felt the bile rise in his throat and promptly vomited all over the deck. After a moment, he looked back at Gwen. "Are you two insane? What is going on?" Eric looked up calmly. "Relax, kid. We're just feeding the fish." Gwen resisted the urge to laugh inappropriately. As she recovered, she realized Jordan was still looking back instead of forward. "Jordan, look out!" Jordan turned around and saw the rocks protruding from the water some distance from Alcatraz Island. He veered the boat quickly, but the vessel was large and hit on the right side. Hard. "Kid, get us off the rocks! Gwen, help me lift this." He attached one of the anchors to Yuri's feet, hoping the rocks hadn't breached the hull. They needed to get out of here and get back to the mainland. Fast. Suddenly, being caught dumping a dead body wasn't quite the worst thing that could happen. Gwen and Eric worked together to lift Yuri over the side. Eric was once again impressed by Gwen's strength. It was obviously a strain, but she came through. Together, they hauled the weight over the side, still wrapped in plastic. The sharks should take care of Yuri at the bottom, and the ocean would wash away the blood from the plastic. Eric and Gwen collapsed for a moment on the deck. The boat was now heading back to the mainland, as Eric had instructed after the drop. Guys," Jordan nervously said, "we have a big problem. I think we're taking on water." Eric bolted down below into the cabin. Taking on water was an understatement. They needed to hurry. He ran back up onto the deck and pushed Jordan out of the way of the wheel. "Sorry, kid. We need to move, now." Gwen watched as Eric throttled up and the boat sped forward, as fast as it could possibly go given the circumstances. "What's going on?" "The boat is taking on too much water. We have to get as close to the mainland as possible before it sinks." Jordan began to tremble. "Sink? Oh my God. If only he hadn't freaked out like that when he saw the blood. Now they were all gonna die." He began crying uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, Miss Gwen. I'm so sorry. Oh no, I can't believe this. We are all going to die because we dumped a body at Alcatraz." Gwen liked Jordan, but there really wasn't any time for this. She reached up and slapped him hard across the cheek. "Snap out of it! Eric is going to get us as close as he can, and then we will swim. Get your life jacket on, now." Gwen felt a moment of sadness seeing the red mark on Jordan's face, but it was nothing compared to what Eric would have given him. "I'm going up there to give Eric his vest. Just sit tight, okay?" She briefly hugged Jordan as his fearful eyes looked at her with gratitude. Jordan thought to himself, "I'm gonna die anyway," grabbed Gwen and kissed her firmly on the lips. Gwen hugged him back and went toward the front of the boat. She understood the sentiment, but now really wasn't the time. She reached the helm and handed Eric his vest. Gwen took the wheel while he put it on, and briefly she thought how oddly the day had turned out. She had another sudden urge to break out in laughter, but held it in. After Eric took control again, she asked how long. Just then, the boat became sluggish and was obviously dead in the water. The ocean came pouring up through the cabin. Eric looked at the other two. "Time to go. Make sure you swim as fast and as hard as you can away from the boat." The three plunged into the frigid waters of the North Pacific Ocean. Gwen felt the shock of the water immediately, but remembered Eric's order to swim. She saw the lights from the city in the distance and swam as hard as she could away from the sinking yacht. When she could no longer feel the pull of the water, she stopped and looked around. "Eric! Jordan!" "I'm here." It was Eric. Gwen made her way toward him and looked around. "Oh no! Jordan! Jordan!" The two began screaming his name with no response. Jordan felt himself caught on the boat by the laces of his boot. The pull of the boat began to drag him under into the abyss of the Pacific Ocean. This concludes episode 16 of Echoes in the Gallery. Join me, your host, Susan L. Sistrunk, next week for episode 17, The Contingency Plan. Until then, stay safe and love each other.